In Lesson 8.4, you're going to be able to identify and sort triangles by their angles and their sides. Follow along in your workbook as you go through these questions, starting on page 407. As you saw, you're going to be, in your work in your Nearpod, you're going to have to create these angles. We're asking you to draw an acute angle, an obtuse angle, and then a right angle. And then make these into a triangle. So now if we add a third side, this is an acute triangle. All of the angles in this are acute. And our next one down here, we have an obtuse triangle. When we add the third side, there's one obtuse angle. And this is a right angle. So if we add the third side, this becomes a right triangle. In your book on page 407, there's an example of each of these. We have a right triangle. There's only one right angle. And we have that small square in the right angle. An obtuse has one obtuse angle. And then finally, an acute triangle, all three angles need to be acute. So study all three parts or all three angles, and we'll name triangles by their angles. Let's practice a little bit on page 408. You're going to have two answers here. Or name it by its angle. So you'll have one answer for now. Name it by its angle. And then it's asking you to explain your thinking. So pause the video now. Okay, so the number 4, it should be called an acute triangle. Well, you can see that there are 3 acute angles. Number 5, you can see there's one right angle, so that makes it a right triangle. Number 6, all of those angles are acute, so we have an acute triangle. Number 7 is a little different, isn't it? Actually, number 7 and 9 are both obtuse triangles. And then number 8, you can see the right triangle, or the right angle symbol, and that is going to be a right triangle. Okay, now we're going to be asked to classify triangles by their sides. Okay, so if I take a look at these triangles, you're going to get a little symbol in the sides to signify if they're all the same size. You can measure triangles. I can't show you a ruler right now to measure it, but I'm going to pretend that these are all equal sides. That makes it an equilateral triangle. If you see these two symbols, or if you see a symbol with two sides, or a triangle with two sides that are equal, that is an isosceles triangle. Okay, so we have an equilateral, an isosceles, and this right triangle up here, none of those sides are the same. There's no markings on any of the sides. That is a scalene triangle. Okay, so like I said, here you see the 3 tick marks on the sides of those angles. On the side of those triangles, that means they're all the same. That's an equilateral. Then we have an isosceles, and finally a scalene. Let's practice it. It's asking you to name each triangle by the sides and explain your thinking. Now you can see the tick marks on numbers 22, 23, 24, and 25. So that means something. Okay, name the triangle by its sides. Pause the video, practice. Okay, number 20, none of those sides are the same. There's no tick marks on it. There's 0 equal sides, so that means it's scalene. That's the same with number 21 as well. 22 has 2 tick marks in it. 22, 23, and 24. 2 of those sides are the same. So that means those are isosceles triangles. And finally, number 25, Well, there's 3 tick marks, so that means that all 3 sides are equal, and that makes it an equilateral triangle. Okay, on page 410 now. This is going to be your challenge for Flipgrid. We want you to cut out the triangles at the bottom of the page, label them, so then you'll know if they are acute, obtuse, right, and if they're isosceles, scalene, and equilateral. So you're going to have 2 labels on each of those. Okay? So, for example, the bottom left, this first triangle on the left, I know that that is a right triangle, and 2 of the sides are the same. So that makes it an isosceles. So it's an isosceles right triangle. So label each one with 2 categories, by its angles and by its sides. And then you do the Venn diagram. So in the Venn diagram, you have some triangles that are going to fit in the left oval, some are going to be in the right oval, and some are going to be in both of them. I'm going to give you a hint now. Label the left oval an acute, and label the right as isosceles. Most of them fit in those two ovals then. There's only one that's going to be in both categories. Okay? You can set up your Venn diagram as you would like, but we want you to create a Venn diagram for your Flipgrid video. Good luck.